record. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Today's training is with AboveNet. They are a fiber solutions carrier with Polaris and one of our best suppliers. Eddie has always gone above and beyond, and we look forward to increasing business with them. It's a strong December and a good 2012. But I'll turn it over to him as a overview of their solution set, and be sure to join online at polaris.com/web for the presentation, and he'll also be sharing his desktop at some point, I believe. Anyway, Eddie, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Eddie Acosta. I'm the Manager of Indirect Sales for AboveNet, and your point of contact for any and all of your Ethernet needs. So I'll go ahead and start the slide. If anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me. And if there's anything you'd like to touch on before we go through the slide or have any questions early on, just go ahead and let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer those. All right. So I'll go ahead and start with the first slide here. So AboveNet is a fiber optic solutions provider. We provide high bandwidth solutions for enterprise customers and companies looking to connect to one of maybe 500 plus data centers that we're currently connected into today. It all starts with fiber. We actually offer all of our services utilizing our dense fiber count. And if you look here into the map, it shows you just a little bit about our presence. So we're in markets like Miami, Atlanta, Houston, Austin, Dallas, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. Denver is one of our newest markets, Chicago, New York, Boston, Philly, Baltimore, D.C., and Virginia. We also have the ability to get you across the pond, so if you are looking for connectivity in one of these markets, London, Frankfurt, Paris, Amsterdam, we can get you there as well. We have a little over 2.3 million miles of fiber that connects all these markets together, as well as connects metro market footprints. And we've got close to 2,600 plus buildings on that. I think a good point that we'd like to focus on is that we're bringing about 35 new buildings online per month. We have traditionally 100% of our fiber is buried in the ground, so it's diverse from the current local exchange carrier. It all starts with dark fiber. So really there's nothing that you gain from having fiber other than smart equipment that's placed on the edge of it. So we have a dense fiber footprint sitting in the ground today. This is kind of the building blocks for the fiber. Dark fiber is our base model here, and what happens is we put smart equipment on the edge of it, and we turn that into Metro Ethernet, Core Wave, WDM, which is our Metro service offering. That's a Metro area network offering, so people looking to connect in the same metropolitan area of Dallas. Let's just say you wanted to connect from a Dallas data center to another Dallas data center. Most of our customers will be looking for a Metro Ethernet solution or a WDM solution. We have the ability to gain access between that metro market using our expresswave long-haul network, which is a next-generation 40-gig network. You can connect from Dallas to Boston, riding on our dense fiber over and above our fiber optic network. So if you need to get services like 100 meg, a gig, a 10 gig network, we can get you between those two markets fairly easily on a quick ramp to two buildings that are either on net or we construct into the building depending on how close it is to our backbone. So we do two things really well. We connect you to the internet. We're a Tier 1 ISP, and we offer a transport service. So you can get in between two or more markets fairly easily with our dense fiber footprint. So are there any questions that you may have today for me? Is this open, Danny? I just want to make sure that the conference open so that people can ask questions.
I'll test. Can you hear me, Eddie?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So are you going to discuss the bursting capability I see as one bullet point?
We do have a bursting capability. Traditionally, it depends on the platform. So if let's just say you were looking for an internet solution and you wanted to buy 50 megs of internet at your building, we could deliver service into your building depending on how close it is to the fiber footprint. So I've actually uploaded a small map here. Right here, are you able to see this map?
Yes.
So if you gave me an address and it was within a 1,500-foot proximity to any of this red cabling in the ground, we have some pretty nice maps here. We could measure it out, tell you what the cost would be to get into the building. We actually offer a great promotion that ends at the end of the year. It could be extended, but at the moment right now it's set to expire December 31st. We will build into a customer's building at no charge to them. And we could offer you a 50 meg solution for, anywhere between $1,600 and $2,000, just depending on how close you are to the building. That would be delivered over a gigabit port, which means that the customer wouldn't have to bond circuits or add any additional complexity to the network design in order to gain more bandwidth access. So if we gave you 50 megs, you could actually get up to a 1,000 meg connection in your office by just subscribing to a small commitment with us.
And so the bursting aspect of that whole perspective,
so you can burst, yes. We could rate limit it, but you could burst.
well, so functionally, what does bursting mean in this instance? Customer subscribes 50 meg, then they would have a bursting capability up above that. Is that what we're speaking of?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. So you could actually get up to a full 1,000 meg connection if your application or your need required it. So you could go from 50 megs to 1,000 megs by paying a small fee. Now, we actually bill in 95th percentile, just like most internet billing is out there today. And so what we do is we take the average utilization of the bandwidth and we just chop the top 5% off. So the customer could have used more bandwidth, one day versus another day, and we wouldn't bill them for it. It's just a nice feature that we offer.
Okay, now I see that you were addressing that question when you were talking about the 50 meg up to 1,000 meg, and I didn't follow it first, so thank you. Got it.
Yeah, not a problem.
And then is there a way to have, there's probably a scale on the fiber map in our Tolaris back office or via AboveNet itself. Is there a way to judge that 1,500-foot proximity to the AboveNet fiber?
Not you personally. You probably need to come to me just to verify it. And we have a nice little feature that is set up. So let me just take you to that real quick. This is my desktop. I'm just sharing this with you. And I'm not sure. I use split screen, so I'm not sure how that appears on your screen. But we can take you to above.net, and you can come into our partner portal. Come in here where it says agents, click it. It'll take you to my website. You can click the quick quote process. It's a very simple, online, and everything in here is cached for the most part, so for us. But if you had a question regarding a bandwidth or certain speed, you would just type your name, last name, email, phone number. We have a drop-down box saying what particular master agent you're with. Drop your phone number in. I would be your point of contact for Tolaris, or one of my partners would be a point of contact here for you, depending on where your body lies. And you would just put the name of your organization in here, customer opportunity, probably going to be an enterprise opportunity. If it was an internet service, you would just click Metro IP. And it's a pretty simple feature. And we don't need MPA and XX, so you don't have to look for that. Just really all we need is the address. The type of property would probably be an enterprise building. The address would be 1234. City you're in Houston, Texas. You're looking for a 3-year term, and what you're looking for was 50 megs of bandwidth. Hit submit. It'll send you an email. It'll send us an email. We will be able to quickly identify whether or not it's within close proximity. just measuring. So the way we measure it would be we would take this cable. Let's say your building was over here, maybe down this road. We'll be able to tell you that's 376 yards away. There's 30 feet in a yard, so we just do 376 times 3, 1,128 feet. And we'd quickly be able to tell you the cost. You could present that to your customer, and we get the quotes back fairly quickly to you. So we're very nimble in our pricing, our approach, and our quote process. So you can actually get a number out there within 24 hours to 48 hours without us having to do an actual site survey.
That was very nice to see that, Eddie. That was very, very nice.
We've got a very simple approach, simple process. If you need bandwidth, if you need Ethernet, we'd like you to come to us first. We are the leader in the Ethernet solution. If you can't find it and you're not aware of it, we could probably help you locate the right provider for yourself, because this is all we could beat in. We're focused on providing high bandwidth solutions in metro markets, and customers looking to get to data centers. We're a very well positioned organization for that. We continue to invest in building into new data centers, and we continue to invest in growing the market. So, 1 out of the 3 capital dollars that come into our business goes right back into building into a customer like yours building or enterprise building, and we don't charge them for it. We see it as if we build it, they will come, right? So you have a customer, needs a need to get to a specific data center, or maybe has a need to get to the internet and wants a large bandwidth provider, we are it.
That's excellent. That's how Polaris is positioned AboveNet, and now you've confirmed that. And so even if we didn't go beyond this engagement this morning, this webinar has been great, Eddie. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So let me tell you a little bit about what makes us different. In this slide, you see 2 actual images here. You have AboveNet, and you have this traditional telco carrier. That could be any local exchange carrier out there. We differentiate ourselves by actually providing you with the last mile ourselves. So if you're looking to get to the internet, or looking to get to a connection specific in the metro, we will provide you a private pair of fiber, and in between the 2 buildings. We wouldn't pass through multiple central offices like the shown image here, and we could actually depict the route from A to Z for you. So if a customer has a specific need to get diversity from the local exchange carrier, we could actually show that to you. And the way we show that is by using this nice little map that we have sitting right here. So we've got quick, easy access. We're very forthright in showing our network. A lot of our clients find it very valuable because we can actually truly show them the diverse route from A to Z. And this is just a network map of DC. So if you wanted to take a look at something like New York, we actually have a pretty dense fiber footprint there. It's actually one of our first markets that we opened up with AboveNet. So I'll just see if I can take you here. This is our fiber footprint here in New York. You can see it's pretty dense. All of these red dots and red cabling here are our fiber backbone within the metro. And we actually utilize a nice service that we will offer to all of our partners. If you need to take a look at it yourself, or you'd like a better image of it, we provide a Google Earth map that has a TMZ overlay on it. And what that does is it shows you the actual metro footprint in that market. So if you're looking to get connectivity in a specific market, it's pretty easy. Somewhat similar to what we use here in our map point process. You just type the address in. Let's just say you're looking to get to 111 8th Avenue, New York. Click it. It would fly you right there to it. And you would be able to locate whether or not we have fiber in that metro market. And if you need to confirm some pricing, you would just come to either myself or go into the portal and place that request, and we would quickly be able to provide you with access to that.
And one more note on that, Eddie, is that in GeoQuote, anytime you run any quote, there's a tab towards the top next to the filtering options called Fiber Map. If you click on that, AboveNet's fiber is integrated within our system. And so even if you're running a T1 quote, you can click on the fiber map and see how close AboveNet is to that location.
So for this slide, we all start with fiber. So one of our differentiators also is that we sell dark fiber. Lots of providers out there do not sell that. So there's nothing valuable to you as an end user or to your client as an end user with just fiber. It's the equipment you place on the edge of it, right? So if I just gave you a piece of fiber, there's really nothing you can do with it. But if you have the right equipment on the edge, you could turn that piece of fiber into 100 megs, a gig, 10 gigs, 40 gigs, 100 gigs, by just simply placing the right equipment on the edge of the fiber. So we find that is that's a very valuable service. Clients that are some of the largest social media networks out there, some of the search engines you utilize today, some major U.S. banks in the marketplace buy this fiber because they actually have the expertise to operate networks like that, which is fine. But then we find, we have a lot of enterprise and small and medium businesses that don't have that expertise, and they want someone to come out and deliver the service to them at a specific bandwidth and manage that. So that's where we come into our metro services here. And what we do is we utilize equipment in the metro to light that fiber to a specific bandwidth speed. So if you need to get 100 megs, a gig, a 10 gig, a 2.5 gig wave, or some sort of metro connection in the market, we would provide that to you. A larger feature that we offer is our wide area network offering. And we offer a great service. A lot of people don't come to us thinking about our VPLS offering, but we actually have the ability to connect multiple markets together with shared bandwidth offering, Ethernet handoffs, which is an easy plug-and-play for your client. So if you need a person that needs to connect between D.C., New York, Dallas, Miami, Seattle, come to us. We can actually offer that service. We do it very well. We own the last mile end-to-end. We wouldn't go out or reach out to a partner unless we needed to. Maybe it was a market that we weren't currently in, but we can connect you in between markets with an any-to-any configuration. That's simple plug-and-play. You're probably hearing the buzzword out there. VPLS is a new trend. It is the new MPLS type offering. It's an MPLS backbone, but an Ethernet front end. So, well, once again, come to us with the Ethernet offerings. If you've got a client looking for 10 sites, 8, 12, we're not going to be a great fit for everybody in everything. Definitely don't want to take a look at a 100-site MPLS network. That's really not going to probably be our niche or our need. But, smaller networks, 8, 10, 12 sites, those are great fits for us. We do very well with that. At the end of the day, what we do is we own everything end-to-end, so there's one throat to choke. So our bandwidths are provided by, and we have a couple of key market drivers here. We're great in the enterprise space. If you have a customer looking to gain connectivity to a data center, or you need to go to an Ethernet hub, or an Internet hub. An Internet hub would be considered a carrier hotel. I'm sure you've heard the phrase out there. I need to get to 1957. I need to get to 111 8th Avenue, which is a carrier hotel that Google just bought. I need to get to 50 Northeast 9th Street in Miami because I have South American traffic that I need to bring into the U.S. I need to get to 120 North Van Buren in Phoenix. I need to get to 56 Marietta in Atlanta. Those are Internet hubs. And also key data centers. We're positioned well in those places because we feel that people needing to connect to the cloud, people needing to connect to the next generation network is going to have the need to get into a data center. It's the new central office. Now, we offer these services on a next generation technology. People are looking at Ethernet now, right? Optical interfaces, Ethernet, plug-and-play stuff. We connect some of the largest clients in the world. Social media networks, U.S. banks, hospitals. We also offer low latency routes because we actually own the network from A to Z. We can give you a direct connection between point A and point Z and show you that route. And since we're not passing through central offices like shown in this model, the latency between point A and point Z is going to be much shorter and better for your end user.
Eddie, are you okay with an interruption?
I'm I'm sorry?
Are you okay with an interruption?
Sure, please.
So I'm still trying to understand, the VPLS solution you suggested is not for for perhaps 100 location, more like 8 to 10. But if you're saying AboveNet, and I know AboveNet has provided service for U.S. banks, wouldn't a bank have at least 100 locations? So I'm confused.
Sure. So most banks use this for their critical and core mission infrastructure. If you needed to get connectivity between a data center and maybe you needed to replicate the information from your customer, from your, I don't know, they're probably backing up their information off of their smaller branches and using the internet to get to a core hub in a data center. And then from that data center, they're transmitting the information to maybe another data center and replicating and storing it there. For banks, what we do is we actually provide them with low latency connections between metro markets, right? We wouldn't be able to touch all of the sites, and a good way to show that is we're not in every area of the metros. Let's just say, I'll give you Dallas. I live in Dallas, so it's just a good market for me to focus on. I can give you information better in this market. Let's say you had a branch that was up here in Louisville. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of red fiber up here, or that red cabling. This is our fiber footprint. So we wouldn't be able to touch this location, or we'd have to no-bid this. But what we find is there's normally not a lot of providers that are in this rural area that's maybe more residential where the bank's located. So they would look for a solution like maybe a cable operator or maybe a local provider of the LEC out there, and they would gain internet access, and they would replicate the information here and send it to a data center like 2323 Bryan Street out here. So for banks, we're not looking to be the MPLS network for their satellite sites. We're looking to be their core hub where they're needing to transmit all the information from those smaller satellite sites to their major network area. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes very good sense, and I'm going to be candid and say, so why wouldn't that other provider that may be providing them the MPLS connectivity to all their satellite locations, why wouldn't they want the piece that AboveNet would normally, or why would AboveNet be a better choice for the bank for that other piece, the main we'll call it the main circuit?
Okay, so the main circuit would probably be a larger bandwidth speed. How long do you think it would take an AT&T or a Quest to put together a 10 gig or a 40 gig network for all those satellite sites to connect between two buildings? Now, let's keep in mind, let's take a look at this model. I clicked back, so it's just taking a little bit for me to get back to the... So this model here, the traditional telco, if you were looking to gain a larger bandwidth between this building and this building, what do you think is involved in these sites to get a 10 gig network put together? Maybe some card upgrades here, some card upgrades here, some card upgrades here. And we all know that the local exchange carrier is very slow about upgrading networks, even though they may have gotten the business. You know, this bank has a critical need to grow from here to here, from maybe 100 megs to 10 gigs. It's going to require a lot of capital for them here, here, and here. Well, that's not something that we would require. We would drop, the single pair of fiber that we have running between these two buildings would just be a smart box here, you're done. There's 10 gigs, 45 days, 120 days at the latest. And that's considering if the building is off net. So from a bank's perspective, I would say that you're looking for a provider that can give you quick, nimble, large bandwidth services between the buildings that doesn't require a major forklift in the infrastructure in order to do that. Because guess what? See the single piece of fiber here, the bank all of a sudden needs a larger bandwidth connection. Now the 10 gigs they have today isn't sustainable. They need 40 gigs. All we do is we drop a 40 gig card into the box here, a 40 gig card into the box here. The same network's still in place, the same piece of fiber. Now you've got a 40 gig network, and it didn't require an overhaul into all these central offices in order to do it.
That helps a lot. That's very good. Some people don't like my view, but forward-looking. So going down the road, AboveNet may provide the satellite connectivity, or the carrier that's providing the satellite connectivity may try and bid against AboveNet's connection for that other piece, in the future sometime. But at this present point in time, that would perhaps be the bank's best solution, a hybrid solution of providers.
And we don't want to be everything to everyone. We would love to be that, but we can't. We understand we're a niche provider, right? We offer large bandwidth in between sites in the metro and across the U.S. So if the bank has a need to get between data centers at a large bandwidth speed, or has a need to get in the metro between two specific buildings that we have a great footprint in, we're probably going to be the leader. If they have a need to connect 100 satellite offices back to a central hub, well, that's probably not going to be our fit. And, I'm okay with saying that we're not everything to everyone. I don't want to tell you that we're everything to everyone. I want you to think of us as the large bandwidth provider that gives you quick, nimble solutions in between buildings in the metro, above markets, in data centers. That's where we fit well. We've got 500 plus data centers sitting with connectivity from us into them. I would like to think that if you were looking for a big bandwidth, you would come to us for things like that. And that's where we're really well positioned.
And there aren't perhaps the providers that would offer that satellite MPLS network may not be able to compete with the bandwidth that AboveNet can offer.
Yeah, and it may be a very rural area, right? Let's say that there's an area out there that has no Ethernet option. Maybe all they have is a satellite connection, or maybe they have a DSL offering, and that's really all they can get out there. That's not going to be a fit for them, but the bank has no choice. They have to get a small bandwidth speed out there. So,
thank you, Eddie.
There are a lot of reasons why Ethernet adoptions are driving people toward companies like us. You can get bandwidth, for $450 for a Q1, and even less. 10 meg Ethernet lines are about $1,300. We provide the access to transport end-to-end services at 100 megs, a gig, 10 gig, and it's simple plug and play. Ethernet is a very simple offering for end users. And so your client needs to get a quick connection. They just plug it into their network. You can add capacity into that network without having to do a major overhaul of the infrastructure in the bottom. There's no bonding of T1. There's no upgrading the central offices in order to get the connections grown. Our average price for a gig circuit, a 1,000 meg circuit in the metro, is about $3,000. That's hard to compete with. Our fastest growing product is a 10 gig platform. Our 10 gigs are about $5,000. That's very tough to compete with because people are buying a 1 gig point-to-point from AT&T today for about $5,000. And they think that's a great price. Well, if you could offer your client or your end user a 10 gig network for the same price they're paying for a 1 gig network, I think they would be pretty enticed to take a look at us.
Certainly, you haven't addressed you talked about bonded T1s as a solution for high bandwidth, but you haven't addressed the Ethernet over copper as a competitive type product.
That is a competitive product to us, but we don't play in the copper space. So we have nothing in our network that is copper. Everything is Ethernet. Everything we deliver is over the 2.3 million miles of fiber that we currently have sitting in the ground. So we are the innovator in Ethernet. A true Ethernet handoff is going to be something delivered over fiber. It's the fastest connection between point A and point Z is over a light or a piece of glass. If you had to go into a legacy network, let's just say, the only thing I can think of is AT&T or Quest, right? They have a lot of copper sitting in the ground. Verizon also. If you need to have a bonded Ethernet delivered over copper, you're going to have bandwidth limitations, right? You can't get up to the 1 gig speed. You can't get up to the 100 meg speed. You can probably get about 40, maybe 20, 10 meg, somewhere around there, but that's where you're capped at. You have no growth option for yourself. If it's a good fit for you, then that's great. That could be a good solution for you. But what we like to think is people come to us because they want the ability to future-proof their network. So, we're cost-effective. We offer these different platforms here. We're very focused on being the leader in Ethernet. We're also Metro Ethernet Form certified, which is not very common. There's not a lot of providers out there that are certified. We offer 100 meg, 10 gig, 40 gig. We can offer this simple point-to-point between point A and Z, and guess what? We can add internet onto it without having to do anything to the network. Through just a simple VLAN. So you needed a point-to-point from point A to point Z, and maybe we sold it to you for $3,000. You needed 100 meg of internet, but you only needed it at this location right here. We're creative. We do things like that. You're maybe looking at another $1,000. So $4,000, you get a 1 gig point-to-point between point A and point Z, and we added internet on there for another $1,000. It's great. A lot of people love it. It's simple. It's plug and play. There's nothing they really have to do on their infrastructure in order to support it, and it's one throat to choke. We own everything, A to Z. We're very quick. We're very nimble. Our model is, if we need to, we will put a shovel in the ground, and we will build it for you at no cost to you. We believe if we build it, they will come. Traditionally, we've been doing this for quite some time, and we are the leader in it. So I'm sure you've heard us out there in the market. We have a lot of great installation processes. Our project management team is awesome. We give updates once a week, every Friday, on the progress and the steps of the installation of the circuit. At times, what ends up happening is the end user's not ready for us because we delivered it too quickly. There's not a lot of carriers out there that can say that.
No, you've explained that well. I kept harping on that satellite versus the connectivity, and you've answered that very well. What makes, and again, come to Eddie with the solution, and if he can't handle it or solve it, he'll help you, perhaps direct that. So that's the perspective that you're presenting and representing AboveNet with, and that's excellent, Eddie. Just amazingly wonderful.
I appreciate that. So we have a lot of different Ethernet offerings. We've probably got 14 different ones, from Metro Ethernet offerings to wide area network offerings to large bandwidth connections in between markets to internet access. We offer a lot of different services. We don't play in the voice arena. We're great value add to maybe a SIP provider. If you've got someone looking to connect, a SIP offering, or they need a unified communication type offering, and they need a private network to get them from their corporate building back to the data center where all the SIP offering or the cloud network connectivity is sitting in, we're a great fit for that. We give a very scalable product that can support large bandwidths or multiple users. And so people look to us for not only just providing just a simple point-to-point, but also to be the last mile offering to them, because they need to write a variety of applications across just the point-to-point, and it's simple. It's very clean. It's plug and play. You can run your voice, your video, your data network at the data center. You can plug it into our fiber. We can transmit the information from point A to point Z into your corporate building, and you can get all the service you need across the same pair of fiber without having to do any type of an upgrade. So we have a couple of verticals here that we've supported recently, and everyone thinks that Ethernet only supports specific verticals. Really, we're starting to see a lot of new changes coming into the market. I've got high-end hotels that are buying 100 meg networks from us because they want to get the clientele like the IBMs of the world. They want to get the Dell conference to come into their hotel, but they have so many users that come in there that a traditional hotel would just buy a T1. Well, do you think 40 or 50 users that come into that conference can actually access the internet at the same time and have a great user experience? Not really. So they look for us to be that. So we provided services to the Westin Bonaventure, which is a large hotel out in California. Fairmont hotels, some of these high-end hotels that have a lot of these conferences come in there, they look to us to provide those type of offerings. So I'll go through a couple of key verticals here and solutions that we've provided in the past and talk to those a little bit. If there's anything in there that catches your eye, reach out to me. If you need to ask a question or stop me, please feel free to ask questions at any time throughout this. This is slide 9. This is our legal slide, finance, and healthcare. These are kind of some of the drivers that we've seen. Within the legal industry, we've seen a lot of legal offices needing to transmit information or documents privately between multiple offices that they're currently in, and then they also need to transmit the information from those offices back to a data center for maybe a disaster recovery or business continuity plan. They need a converged access offering, which is their VPLS. A lot of legal offices don't have the 100 sites. They probably have 8 to 10 sites. Very good fit for us. Maybe they're in key NFL networks like we're currently positioned in. We're not in every network, or we're not in every state out there. But if you had an office that had if you had a legal office that had a branch in Dallas, a branch in Houston, a branch in D.C., a branch in New York, a branch in California and Seattle, those are great fits for us. It's going to be someone looking to connect those major NFL cities together and transmit the data from the Miami office over to Dallas, or maybe they need to transmit the information from one of those branches into their corporate data center sitting up in SunGard facility or an Equinix facility or one of the major Telex facilities, the data centers that are out there. We can give them a converged access, which allows them to interconnect all those sites together and do that privately across a layer 2 network that is very secure, that they can control. And if they ever need a large bandwidth demand, maybe they only subscribe to 100 megs between all 4 or 5 of those sites. If they have a big demand to send a large file from point A to point Z, we have 1 gig ports sitting at all those ends. So it's going to be very quick, very scalable. They can burst up onto that gig. And our billing is creative in that we bill on 95th percentile. So the customer can actually have a spike in one day and not pay for that spike. So they send a large file from point A to point Z, or maybe from point A to all the rest of the points. That's great. We take 5% off the top and just carve it off, throw it away. They don't pay for it. Their average utilization is probably less than that anyway. From a finance perspective, which would be a bank, people are using these Metro Ethernet connections to transmit the data, the information from point A to point Z. They need to meet compliances with SOX or Sarbanes-Oxley. They have risk management, disaster recovery, business continuity drivers that are driving them toward a Metro Ethernet provider that can get them connections from point A to point Z, quick, secure, on a private route. We also offer that as a low latency route because we're not passing through central offices. We can depict the mileage from point A to point Z and give them a specific route that connects them between the 2 sites. And that's a very large value add to end users. They want to know, how am I getting from point A to point Z? Well, guess what? I can show you. Here's the route. Here's the distance. Here's the connectivity that we're offering. From healthcare and medicine, HIPAA is a large driver there. They need private connections between point A and point Z. I mean, I don't think that I could say it any clearer. People need private, secure connections. Companies all have this as a driver. From a compliancy standpoint, they all need to get a direct connection from point A to point Z that's scalable, that can grow, that can provide their end user and their work environment with a more friendly experience. We also support media and entertainment, Web 2.0, social gaming, media and entertainment. All the Pixar videos that have been coming out lately, we've actually been supporting those. So people needing to get into major production houses in California from another market, the rest of them shipping the actual video from FedEx and sending it over to the other branch. We're providing them with the large bandwidth they need to upload and directly provide that video feed from point A to point Z. Same thing with Web 2.0 and social media. The more people that jump on Twitter, the more people that jump on Facebook. You need large bandwidth to support all those drivers there, right? The more users you get, the more bandwidth you need. Those are great drivers for us. Energy and gas, have these feeds that are coming in there, the geophysical feeds, engineering data reports that they've got to get between point A and point Z. Big in Houston. We have a ton of clients from the oil and gas industry that are sitting out in the Houston market that are needing to get private connectivity in and between Houston, Dallas, up to their disaster recovery business continuity data centers. And so we're providing a very large bandwidth for those clients today. I mean, they're all looking to back up their data. And from retail hospitality, same thing, PCI, which is payment card industry, putting your credit card, swiping it. You need a secure network that can keep that data encrypted and sent from point A to point Z quickly and securely. So same thing with the bandwidth. People going in there to, into your normal hotel chains that need large bandwidth and they want to drive the right clientele to come into their facilities. They need large bandwidth to say, hey, Mr. Customer, if you come in and you use our facility, we can give you these large bandwidths. We can provide that. All of your people sitting in this branch and this conference are going to have a great experience because we have a large bandwidth provider that delivers a great service to our end user. So I'll go through this just a little bit, our agent program. I had sent you through the portal. You can always go to Telaris. You can fill out the information within Telaris' back office. They'll send it to me directly. I'll either upload it into this portal with first name, last name, all the information that's sitting here. You'll get an email. We'll get an email. We'll get you a quote back within 24, 48 hours. We're very quick. We're nimble with the pricing. We can get you the quote back, like I said, 24 hours. We have competitive offerings, lots of great promotions that are sitting out there. You'll see those in the Telaris office. A key thing that we like to think is pretty key to our partners is that Inc. rules here. We don't protect accounts. So if there is a account that our direct sales force out there sold and you have a relationship and you believe that customer is going to buy from you, we'll provide that service to you in a contract. You can get them to sign off on it. They're willing to do the business with you. Great. We're willing to give you that business. We're not going to tell you you can't sell that client. And we're pretty nimble. We don't have a large sales staff or executive team here. We're only about 600 employees total, 600, 700 employees total. Most of those are engineers and our project management staff. We've probably got a sales staff of about 60 or 70. But from our group here, we've got about 10 people here. So you can easily go from myself to my director of sales, Brian Sheehan, or you can actually go to Michael Brown, who's our vice president of sales, all the way up to our CEO. Our CEO has been joining the channel partner shows over the past 3 or 4 years. He's very interested in it. He loves meeting new people. He's willing to reach out to your clients and make calls and just say, hey, I'm the guy that runs the show here. We've got a great company. You need anything, you know that you've got direct access to us. He's great. Bill LaPerch has been awesome with our partners and with anyone needing just information from us directly. And he thanks a lot of our partners too, and thanks our clients. He'll call your customer and say, hey, thank you for the business. So just so you know, we're very nimble. We're quick. You can get quick access to our executive team if you ever need it. And here's a list of our team right here. So pretty small. Michael Brown's our vice president. Brian's our director. This slide's going to be available to you, so if you need to get in contact with any of us, you can. We've got 4 engineers on our side, so if you need support from a technical discussion, you need someone to jump onto a phone call with your client to discuss the network connectivity between point A and point Z, we can do that. If you can't reach any of us, you've got plenty of different resources here. Annette is our National Customer Care Advocate, and what she does is she'll go over bill reviews with you and your client. She will be that resource whenever I'm not there to answer your questions, and she'll jump on that. She's more than willing to do that with us. We also have our marketing specialist, Kristen Highland, and Kristen puts out all of our new press releases that you may see Justin uploading into the LinkedIn, Facebook, all the different social media sites out there. So we get a lot of press out there, and she does it. So I'd like to thank you for joining me on the call today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I appreciate all the support Telaris has given us, and we look forward to being a great partner with you all.
Thank you, Eddie. I wanted to point out a couple things just from the survey in your back office of agents that have sold AboveNet. Eddie's one of our, I think he is the highest rated channel manager that we have working with Telaris. Some of the feel free to log into your back office and check out the surveys of what other agents have written about them. But, highly recommended, bring them in early. Worked with a client for over 3 months to satisfy them. Did all the work, created one of the best channels in the industry. And so highly recommended, not just from Polaris staff, but also from agents that we work with. So if you haven't worked with AboveNet, reach out to them and let them show you what they can do. Any other questions from anyone else on the call?
Yeah, Eddie, do you prefer, is there any difference whether we send it to you and you fill out that quick partner form, quote form, or whether we fill it out ourselves?
No, none whatsoever. I mean, it just depends on how busy I am that day. Sometimes if you need it quicker than I've gotten it in there, I'm just giving you the option. Normally I'm pretty quick about getting the quotes back to you, or I'll call you when I see it come in just to make sure that I understand what you're looking for. But no, there's no.
But, that's my point. My point to that is that while I know that you're always there to respond, if there is any sort of preference, or circumstance that we should doing it ourselves, I would just throw it to Polaris. It would be nice to get a link to that form somewhere in the back office. I usually have to dig through my old emails and find one when you were out of office, because then it has it has the link on the bottom. So it would be nice to have it in the Polaris back office somewhere.
I'll get that in there for you today, Zachary.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll get you a quick quote back. Yeah, so appreciate that. This is Zachary, right?
It's Zachary. Oh yeah. I mean, I can attest to that. It comes back quick either way, but the plenty of times I've IM'd you or called you and done it instantly, which is including construction, which is unheard of when it comes to fiber builds.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark Wetch with a quick question.
Sure.
Hi, Eddie. You've always been really fast, just like Zachary said, quick responses and all that, so I would never complain about your speed. But I was wondering, any chance we can get a copy of that map point overlay file? Because I kind of do things in the middle of the night sometimes, and it'd be real handy to bring that up and see how close we are.
Well, with MapPoint, it's you actually have to have a license for that. But I could send you our Google Earth map, and that's not a problem. I could send you a copy of it.
I do have a license for MapPoint. Paid them.
Oh, you do?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's a wonderful program. Use it with other carriers. Very handy.
I'll send it to you, Mark.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
I guess along that topic, I mean, what's the scoop with the Polaris Ethernet tool and its accuracy vis-a-vis AboveNet fiber and lit buildings? I mean, it gives me a really good guide. It's never quite 100% there.
We're not linked into an API with AboveNet at this point, and so some of the material does get dated. And we're using, so we map out from that customer location to their fiber network or their on-net building list. We try to update it at least once a quarter, but it's a work in progress, and we're still working out how accuracy for long-term usage.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and then it's good for lit buildings, but it also doesn't necessarily tell us the splice points and all the rest. But again, I've always used it as a guide. It kind of lets me know if, it easily lets me know if AboveNet's in the neighborhood and whether I should bug Eddie or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, we are moving to a CRM tool that will be able to link into an API for you as well. So we're rolling out Salesforce, and we've kind of been running on our own homegrown servers here recently, but we are going to be rolling that out. So, Danny, when we get that rolled out, you'll be one of the first that gets it. So just so you know, it'll provide you with pricing, it'll provide you with network accuracy, and all that information that you're looking for. We're trying to catch up.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap it up now. Thank you, Eddie, for joining today. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on the call and being active. I think it was great training. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.